welcome to ILTV's Evening Update. I'm Aaron Porras here with the latest news from Israel. It seems that White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer's apologies aren't cutting it, as the condemnation for his inappropriate, insensitive references to the Holocaust continue, this time from the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial Museum in Jerusalem. Spicer first fell into hot water when discussing the chemical gas attack in Idlib, Syria, saying that even someone as despicable as Hitler didn't sink that low, which is of course a very, very false statement. The Nazis began using poison gas in 1939 to kill mental patients. They then murdered thousands of Jews in mobile and stationary vans before building gas chambers. At least 6,000 Jews were gassed to death at Auschwitz alone on a daily basis. Rather than simply calling for Spicer to be disciplined or even fired, however, as many others have called, the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum invited the press secretary to visit and learn more. According to Dr. Robert Rosette, the director of Yad Vashem Libraries, quote, "In light of the recent statements by the White House press secretary, Yad Vashem encourages him to visit our website to learn more about the Holocaust and its period in history. Yad Vashem expresses deep concern about the inaccurate and insensitive use of terms related to the Holocaust by the White House press secretary. His statements imply a profound lack of knowledge of the events of World War II, including the Holocaust. Moreover, they are liable to strengthen those whose goal is to distort history." End quote. Today, a group of Israeli veterans who fought during the Israeli War of Independence successfully reversed a cabinet decision to rename a memorial along Route 1 in honor of Rehavam Ze'evi. Ze'evi had been a commander in the pre-state militia, the Palmach, during the 1948 war, later going on to serve in the Knesset and within the cabinet as Minister of Tourism until his assassination by Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine at the Jerusalem's Hyatt Hotel. The announcement has been praised by the Palmach Veterans Association, who called the decision, quote, "an important step in redressing the historical injustice surrounding the actions of the fighters who connected Jerusalem to the State of Israel during the War of Independence." End quote. Last September, the cabinet voted to name the Shar Chagai site, currently called Bab el Wad in Arabic, after Ze'evi. Both names translate to the Gate of the Valley. The Veterans Association opposition to renaming the monument gained traction in 2016 after a television news report published allegations of rape and intimidation against the former general. The TV report alleged that Ze'evi had raped a female ex-soldier and that he had conspired with a known crime boss in 1974 to set off a bomb outside the home of a journalist who had written critically about the general. French presidential candidate Emmanuel Macron has publicly come out against efforts to unilaterally recognize the state of Palestine. During an interview with France's Radio J, Macron said that the government policy of unilaterally recognizing Palestine, quote, "would not serve anyone," end quote, and claimed that the move would create instability. Macron went on to say that the key is recognizing two states in the area with diplomatic balance work to build peace, and that if France commits to a unilateral recognition of Palestine, they are contributing to an imbalance that would weaken France's ability to play a role in regional stability in this conflict. Macron and far-right leader Marine Le Pen are close frontrunners in France's tight presidential campaign. Le Pen, who heads the right-wing anti-immigration party, the National Front, took heat yesterday by stating that France was not responsible for the roundup of French Jews who were then sent to Nazi death camps. Current Premier François Hollande and former President Jacques Chirac have both apologized for the role played by French police in rounding up 13,000 Jews at the Veldiv cycling track in Paris. Another IDF soldier has been attacked by members of a radical ultra-Orthodox sect of Judaism in Jerusalem. The incident took place during a march organized by followers of ultra-Orthodox Lithuanian Rabbi Shmuel Auerbach in support of ultra-Orthodox Jews imprisoned for failing to appear at their local draft office in order to receive a military exemption. The draft dodgers were temporarily released in order to spend Passover with their families. Organizers of the protest paraded the temporarily released draft dodgers through Bar Ilan Street in a limousine bearing a sign reading, quote, "Prisoners of the Torah World." During the parade, protesters cursed and threw objects at an IDF soldier who happened to be in the area. Many in the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community shun the mandatory military service that applies to most Israelis, and as such, the community has historically received military exemptions for religious study. However, followers of Rabbi Auerbach are so opposed to the military draft that they often refuse to even show up to the draft office to request draft exemptions. Israel's High Court of Justice has just issued a temporary injunction against 20 buildings under construction in the West Bank outpost of Kirim. The injunction is in response to a petition submitted in March by the left-wing group Peace Now. The organization is also demanding an investigation against the Amana Settlement Organization and the Binyamin Regional Council for their involvement in the project. The injunction comes just weeks after Israel promised the United States that it would scale back on settlement construction by not building new neighborhoods or creating new outposts. Peace Now alleges that the outpost had been built without any governmental oversight and as such lacked zoning and planning approvals. In a statement released by Peace Now, the organization is claiming that, quote, by ignoring illegal construction in settlements and outposts, Israeli governments have allowed a small group of settlers to determine their policy and the future of Israel. While settlers are building illegally throughout the West Bank, law enforcement agencies do not raise a finger in order to stop this phenomenon. We will not let go of the issue until those responsible for illegal activity will be brought to justice. End quote. That's all for now. Stay tuned on ILTV.tv for our main daily broadcast playing after this. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you next time with our morning briefing from Israel at 8 a.m. Eastern Time.